We're finally back with more of Ichi's adventures. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Adventures of Zatoichi. It's been a little bit since we last got to a Zatoichi film. The last one we did was back in November, and that was Fight Zatoichi Fight, which featured him taking on kind of a fatherly role to this kid whose mother he accidentally got killed, I believe it was. It was interesting, to say the least. And there's not really a reason why it's taken me so long to get to more of these. It's just worked out like that. I think with the holidays having happened and everything, I wanted to focus on the holiday special and stuff around that time. And then when the new year started, I just haven't had really the chance to get back to it yet because we had the themes for January and February. And so now that we're heading into March, we can finally get back to more of this. And I do plan to do another Zatoichi week in the future, where we do a week full of Zatoichi films. I just don't know when that's going to be right now. It might be this month. It might be in April. I don't know. We'll kind of play that by ear. But Adventures of Zatoichi. So these movies don't have like a strong continuity. Like there's some things that might carry over, but it's not going to be anything to really worry about in regards to like, oh, I need to remember what happened last time. No, probably not. We just kind of follow Ichi on his travels and learn more about him and the people he interacts with. Adventures of Satoichi as a title doesn't really say much, though to be fair, most of these titles don't really end up meaning too much. Like Fight Zatoichi Fight really wasn't an accurate title for the last film. And there's been other ones like that too, where the title doesn't exactly give you a huge, great view on what the movie's going to be. It's not, I feel, the priority with these movies having come out like in such quick succession and everything back in the day. I feel like they were not really focused so much on what the titles were going to be, and were just focused more on, writing, directing, acting, all of that stuff, casting. It's it's just such a vague title because it's basically just describing what Ichi does like in every film. um I have no idea what to expect going into this one because there's just no information I have. I don't know anything about the movie. I don't know anything about the plot or whatnot. But the title doesn't tell me anything either. So it's like I'm going into this as blind as I really can be outside of knowing who Ichi is at this point. Just because I've seen the other movies. um, I assume we'll get plenty of good swordplay. I assume we'll probably get Ichi interacting with one or two other notable characters who there's probably going to be one who's probably a good person, like who he has to like help out or whatnot. At least one bad guy, possibly more, who are just like kind of scummy or self-serving or whatnot. A lot of tropes that they put into these films. Like they do a lot of the same stuff over and over again. But they're entertaining enough and they do diversify themselves enough to where I can watch them without getting too bored by the repetition. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see what we have in store for this, and hopefully it ends up being one of the really good ones, because we've had some that are really good, and then we've had others that are really not. So hopefully this ends up being one of the really good ones. We'll see. But as always, this is a donation reward for Venom, so thank you as always for donating for this series, Venom. And I'm excited to see where this goes. So let's get into it and find out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah, another good one. This was, I don't know if I'd call it the best. It's up there though. I would definitely have to like think about it before I can place it on my list. Um, but I enjoyed it. I kind of like the twist that Giju, the old man, was secretly a bad guy. Well, sort of secretly a bad guy. He was working for Boss Jinbei and ended up like betraying um, Ichi by selling out, literally kind of selling out Saki to them. Um, because it's genuinely something I didn't see coming. Like, it was genuinely a twist that caught me a bit off guard. But I felt like they were kind of going more for a twist that he was Ichi's father. But no, they didn't do that at all. Um, but I feel like it wouldn't have made sense at that point because I feel like they would have, like, he would have recognized his son by name at least. So it's like, yeah, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Because even though Ichi was, like, it said 5, right? When his father disappeared, it's like he still would have known the name. Ichi already had his name at that point, so that was the one big hang up I had, and I mean that's all I needed, I guess. Um, we also had other characters in this, like Gorosuke, I think was his name. Oh Jesus, what the hell happened there? what, I look, I'm like kind of glancing around a little bit. I look up and all of a sudden, completely out of focus. Give me a second here. I have no idea why that happened. Oh yeah, it just completely went into complete unfocused. There, I manually changed it. Wow, that was wild. But yeah, Gorosuke, whatever the fuck his name was. Um, he was obviously built up just to be the big, like, final big enemy for Ichi to face. Even though he wasn't, like, technically the final person Ichi, like, fought and killed. He was, like, the final, like, each movie has, like, this enemy, whether they're actually a bad guy or not, technically. But every one of these movies has this one enemy who's built up to be like this big grand finale fight. Even if Ichi ends up killing others afterwards, they're usually like just grunts or sometimes like a magistrate or someone like that. Boss Jinbei in this case and everything. But they're not really a threat. They're not really going to have like this big fight with him. So you have to give someone who's going to be like an actual threat, someone who can actually fight. So yeah, he had his purpose in there. We had the brother Saki, not Saki's, Ose. Trying to remember all these names is difficult for me. Her brother, um, who was imprisoned. No, I think it was Saki's. No, it was Osei's brother because Saki was looking for her father, who Osei's brother killed. Yeah. Osei's brother was imprisoned for something that he was, ordered to do by boss Jinbei. And he escaped, got in touch with his sister and all this, but ended up dying in the end. Which I'm not surprised that he died. That one actually I felt like he was going to. Saki was looking for her father, and yeah, we find out by the end that her father was killed by the brother on orders from Boss Jinbei. So it all comes back to Boss Jinbei in the end. We have these two kids who help out. They're trustworthy. They're pretty good. Um, and then of course we have the magistrate and Boss Jinbei themselves. And I actually want to look this up because the fact that his name is Boss Jinbei specifically makes me think like, could that be a reference? Because like in One Piece, the character of Jinbei is referred to as Boss Jinbei. Like that is very specifically what he is referred to as. So I'm very curious if like his name at least came from this because the character is obviously very different. Jinbei is a great person. He's very kind and whatnot, very caring and helpful. He's nothing like the Jinbei of this. But considering their names are the same, and considering they considering they're both referred to again as boss, I'm just kind of curious here. Um, I don't want to know anime and manga differences. Trying to see like fun facts or something here. Trivia. Here we go. Da, 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 da. I'm just seeing like stuff about like his height and different things like that. About when he joined. I'm just trying to see if like there's anything about his origins. Here's some stuff that Oda's talked about, like his favorite food, his favorite dish to cook, stuff like that. Apparently, he has the single highest tolerance to alcohol amongst the Straw Hats, even more than Zoro and Nami. That's impressive. Uh, yeah, I'm not seeing anything. It's probably just a coincidence. I don't know like what the meaning behind the name is and everything. And the fact that he's like referred to as boss is again probably just a coincidence. It's just a wild coincidence because it's like because I know that Shintaro Katsu as Ichi is the inspiration for Admiral Fujitora. That is confirmed. That is 100%. So I was wondering if other inspirations came from these movies too, and it's possible, but I couldn't find anything on it. Um, but yeah, there were some little flourishes in this film that I think showed some more creative choices than in previous ones. Splitting that lantern in two during that one scene was completely unnecessary, but really fun. It was just a really cool additional thing to add in. So was Ichi kind of like stepping out of the shadows in the way that he did. Because we already knew it was him, obviously, but it was he was doing it to like show himself to the others there, to his enemies, and it was just a really cool shot. Stuff like that. There were some things that were like, okay, this has happened before in these movies, um, such as the girl being attacked while being carried in the palanquin. Uh, yeah, we've done that before. It's just like, and obviously facing a magistrate and a boss like through that and everything. It's like there's a lot of tropes that these movies tend to follow. I kind of talked about in the pre-thoughts. These movies don't necessarily follow a direct um like continuity exactly. There is continuity in between some of them sometimes, but they're more of like an anthology of films, each one kind of being its own thing for the most part. And I think that allows them to kind of do whatever with them without having to adhere to a lot of things in terms of timeline and adhere to continuity and stuff. But it also does admittedly cause some issues because with it being anthology style, they basically just repeat the same formula over and over again. I think I've talked about this in one of the previous ones. I really like it when these movies can do something different or new that makes them stand out. Because most of the time they do just repeat a formula. And that's fine, I get it. But a lot of these movies do come across as samey because of that. And even if the specifics are different, it's just it does take away some of the enjoyment when it's like I've seen this before, basically. um which again is why like the best ones will usually be the ones that are more unique and interesting, the ones that stand out compared to all the others. um so yeah, I mean hopefully we'll see more of those going forward in the future. I talked about there being a Zatoichi week at some point in the future, whether this coming month in March, maybe in April. I don't know yet. I can't. I can't promise anything, but I do plan on getting to one again because we have still quite a few movies to catch up on. Plus, this is our first time doing one since November, and we probably should catch up with more of them. So yeah, I'm not going to promise when it's going to be yet, but I will give you notice ahead of time so that it's not just sprung on you out of nowhere. And it will take the place of like the weekend movies that week. So it's like there will be a Zatoichi movie every day, Monday through Friday, but there will be no other movies on Saturday and Sunday that weekend. Um, just letting you know that ahead of time as well. Uh, but yeah, I think the biggest thing is that because a lot of these are very samey, I don't really have much to talk about here. It's like I mentioned the things that I really wanted to. I mentioned the things that were a little newer and fresher and more interesting, such as the stuff with Giju and possibly being Ichi's father, though that was not the case. Um, but yeah, I think it was still pretty good. Pretty good. Not the best, but I'll have to think about it more before I can determine where I rank it. For the time being, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Thank you to Venom once again for donating for this. And if you have any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to add, please leave that down in the comments below. For now, though, thank you once again. I keep thanking you. Got to deal with it. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.